everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary. Hope you've all had a good week. Hope you have all had a good weekend. Welcome back to the Sunday Club. Tonight it's going to be Lionesses. We need to discuss obviously the Lionesses who have been underway. The first senior England games of the year, or games should we say, of the year took place earlier this week. So we're going to cover that tonight, and obviously we'll look ahead to other games and fixtures as well. In particular, the Spain game on Wednesday. So I hope everyone is okay. Brandon, I did get your message earlier. I did put the wrong day on. I saw the date, but for some reason I saw Tuesday instead of Wednesday. But yeah, hope you all are well. Who watched it? First and foremost, anyone watched the game? Excuse me. Over the weekend, what did we think to the Lionesses' performance? It's pretty much, actually, I mean, just to get the ball rolling, you'll see the Q&A tonight is, can England beat Spain Wednesday night? I think it's a big ask. I think it's a very, very big ask. And ultimately, the night, England versus Spain, it was what I expected. England versus Portugal, it was what I expected on the night, really. That sort of moments of brilliance, glimpses of obviously where England are a very, very strong team, but in reality it's the problem with the defence a little bit. Attacking wise, we just don't seem to be at that free flowing best, or what we've seen under Serena Wiegman over the years. I don't know, just both ends of the pitch, just it's like, it feels like it's like 70% there, 80% there. But those sorts of games, that was a game where if we took the 1-0 lead, we wouldn't be conceding an equaliser. And if we were conceding later on, we'd have been scoring 3 or 4. And, obviously, I mean, this is what came out from the World Cup, wasn't it? In the women's game in particular, how much the gap has closed between all these nations and all these teams. But And obviously, I'm not saying it was a while since we'd played Portugal actually in the women's game, so it was a bit of a difficult one to predict. But are Portugal the easiest team in this group? Where does it leave England moving forward? I mean, look, away from home, a draw against Portugal, only time will tell really how good of a result that is. And I don't think it's a bad result. I think I need to clarify that up. I don't think it's a bad result at all, but I don't know. It just felt like pretty much what you expected, really, and it just seemed to lack that. Yeah, just that edge that we've seen from the Lionesses previously. 3 Lions, can't see it, to be honest. No, I can't, mate. I can't neither. Stanners, you all right, mate? I am good. I hope you're as well, mate. Genuinely thought we'd make the step up from playing Switzerland last year, but performance was so similar. Yeah, and that, I think that was the key, is that it didn't seem to push on, did it, from when we were last in actual, when the Lionesses last played towards the end of last year, and it seemed like that result against the US, where they were sort of solid and, well, relatively solid. We kept a clean sheet. We had that bizarre game against Germany where, yeah, they were sort of dominating us, and then we pulled it back, and you just felt like, right, where we're going to be? Did the Christmas and New Year break come at a good time? And you felt like, with this Nations League in particular, as we've discussed in this channel this year, being such a big year for the Lionesses, obviously going into the summer to defend the European title, you just felt like the motivation has to be there. The motivation has to be there. From Serena's perspective, she shouldn't have to do any motivating for this team. You're literally in a strong Nations League group with Spain, the world champions, and I think the best team in the world. Belgium and Portugal, a really strong Nations League campaign, followed by the Euros, which we're, of course, going there to defend. And you just felt like, Serena doesn't need to put the motivation there. It should already be there. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say they're lacking desire. I'm not saying that at all. Definitely not saying that. But it just feels like they don't seem to be pushing on now. They don't seem to be pushing on, and this is maybe the England that we've got now, and ultimately expecting England. I think it's because we went so high, didn't we? We went so high. The Lionesses seemed like they were going to potentially rule the women's game for a generation, or at least for a 3-4 year period. Or at least, be consistently putting those high levels of performances in. But we know that's obviously easier said than done. And ultimately, they haven't been able to do that. Maybe expectations were too high, or are too high, really, given how well the Lionesses have done prior to these past couple of years, and that's maybe a little bit of the downfall in terms of what we're expecting from this team. But I don't know, it's just worrying, isn't it? It's worrying. I mean, obviously England are at home at Wembley on Wednesday night. So it could. I mean, that in itself, does that bring more pressure? Does it bring more pressure Wednesday night because we're at home? I know it's against Spain. I mean, I think like Russell, I do not expect at all England to win Wednesday night. I don't. I really don't. I expect Spain to win and win, dare I say, relatively comfortably. I don't think we're gonna lay a glove on him, if I'm honest with you. But I hope I'm wrong. Russell, did you watch it? Did you manage to watch the game the other night? It was it was disappointing. I think to concede so late on as well, and you sort of saw the way the game was going. We started well. Those first 10 minutes, actually, England looked well. Good bits of play, but never again. It's just like that was it. Never really pushed on. Portugal. I mean, it was a fair result. I think that's the other thing. It was a fair result. But yeah, it was a typical England performance. Actually, it's probably fair to say over the last 12 to 18 months. I did, yeah. By all accounts, Spain played very well too the other night, despite being 2 down. Showed their class by coming back late. Yeah, I just think. I just can't see it. Yeah, I just can't see us beating Spain Wednesday night, and obviously I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong. I just can't see it. I just really, really can't see it. Bear with me. I mean, obviously, maybe is it or is it? Is this obviously the fiasco that's been going through the courts at the minute with the Spanish team? I mean, I think that's the one hope you sort of have, that the Spanish team at the minute, you know, obviously I know the verdict's been made and all that sort of stuff, but there's still obviously going to be a lot of differences there, and ultimately it seems like a team that has struggled over recent years behind closed doors, but obviously it didn't stop them from winning. From winning the World Cup, did it? I mean, the fact that Spain game ended as it did. I mean, a Belgium going to give us a real tough game as well. I think the whole situation will galvanise them. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. I mean, that's the other thing. Get a result against Spain on Wednesday night, and all of a sudden, you know, it's completely wide open. This group, it looks, you know, very optimistic moving forward. Yeah, it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? If we win Wednesday night, you're then looking at England to go and top the group, even after 2 games, because you think, hang on a minute, we're beating Spain, it puts us in a good position. Yeah, I just can't see it. I just cannot see it. Oh God, I need to sneeze. Interestingly as well, obviously in the men's game, we're getting closer towards Thomas Tuchel's first game. The 2 friendly games, actually, I think it's well worth mentioning as well, obviously, tonight, that they have been officially announced, finally. So on the 9th of October, England will play Wales at Wembley Stadium. Good game, I think, against the Welsh. Yeah, nice one. I think that'll cap off me then seeing England. Have I seen England play Scotland? I think that'll be a good one to go and see. And the 10th of June, I mean, it was a worst kept secret, wasn't it? At the City Ground at Nottingham Forest, 10th of June, England versus Senegal. So that'll be a really, really good night in Nottingham. I think, yeah, really, really good night. Much better for me as well getting back home. Let me just have a look at the days of the week. So the Senegal game is Tuesday night, so not great for those people travelling up, but really good one nevertheless. And the 9th of October is a Thursday. Yeah, shame Wales. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Sometimes you think, I wouldn't mind England playing some away some away friendlies. We don't tend to do it, do we, as a nation? I'm assuming it's all to do with money. Well, it will be, won't it? That's it. Let's just stop there. It'll all be to do with money. Obviously, because England, well, I mean, obviously not Forest ground, but the fact is you'll get 90,000, won't you? Senegal, not ideal for those of us coming back from Andorra. No, mate. Well, I'm sure you'll be fine, mate. I'm sure you'll be fine. The benefit you're going to have is, you can come to mine, mate, and you'll be able to, much easier. Much easier. It's much easier getting in and out of Nottingham. Honestly. And then straight on the M1 back home. And Nottingham's a bit nicer than Wembley as well. The ground isn't, but I think it'd be a good night. It'll be a really good atmosphere in Nottingham that night. I went to the under-21 games there a few years back, and there's some really nice pubs around the ground. The city centre will be buzzing. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be really, really good. Really, really good night. That I'm looking forward to that. The Wales game, Wales friendly. I mean, obviously it's Wales, so it'll be exciting. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Who knows where the Welsh team are going to be at, because they seem to have been on a backwards trajectory, don't they, for a number of years. So let's see. Will it be a good challenge for Thomas Tuchel at an appropriate time coming towards the end of the year? Who knows? But Senegal, obviously, got fond memories of them. The World Cup, beating them 3-0. Comfortable in the end, wasn't it? Arguably one of England's best performances in a tournament in a long time. Senegal were, of course, at the time, African Cup of Nations. And in England, I mean, that was the year when it just felt like everything was clicking. Foden, Bellingham, they were all playing in the same team, playing well. Good night that was. Good night and a good victory that was. So it'd be interesting to play them again, but I think they'll be a tough opposition. Arguably tougher than Wales. Maybe. Maybe not. Allison days. I think with the Forest game, it'd be interesting, the ticket situation, because even though there isn't quite enough, but I think I put it on the group chat, Russell, there's literally pretty close to more travel club members than what actually fit in the ground. I mean, getting a £25 ticket is going to be interesting for that one. I mean, I don't know how it's working with allocations for that, but there is a potential, and it won't happen because a lot of people won't travel up for it, travel club members or not. So there is a potential, though, that almost all the tickets will go before it goes on general sale. I don't think it will happen. But the ground isn't huge. It's not huge. They could have had it at Derby. I think Derby's a little bit bigger, isn't it? They could have had it at Derby. But it's not. It's an interesting choice given the attendance. Evening, Josh. Hope you're well, mate. Thanks for joining. But no, it will be a good night. It will be a really, really good night. No, you all right, mate? Russell, it'll be interesting to see how they organise it, but despite it being 30k, need to accommodate away fan sponsors, etc. Yeah. So it is an interesting choice, given the fact it's not a huge ground, is it? It really isn't. So yeah, it is a bit of a. I mean, surely they'll go on general sale. I've just got a feeling a lot of travel club members will probably knock that one on the head. Given it, did I say it was a Tuesday night? I mean, Nottingham's not a million miles away, but I can see a lot of them knocking it on the head. With it being a friendly as well. But I don't know. It's just end of the day, it's caps, isn't it? That's what people want. But at the same time, capacity was the same as Wolves the other year. Yeah, and that seemed to go all right, didn't it? It's a weird ground, Wolves, because you look at it and you feel like it holds an awful lot more. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. And they've plenty travelled up for that. But I think the thing is, though, is at that time they were quite a lot less travel club members, I believe, at the time. Could be wrong there. But I think because travel club membership is so high at the minute, it might be an interesting one, this one. And maybe that's something, I mean, that would be classic FA, wouldn't there? Where they might be like, oh yeah, we did it at Wolves, but probably not considering the difference in membership at the minute. Because I'm sure it was high, but I'm sure it wasn't as high as what it currently is. I feel like there's been a real surge in travel club membership over the past year, particularly as we're heading towards the World Cup. I think everyone wants to get out to America, don't they? The City Ground somewhere I really want to go, just miles away from me. I'll be honest with you, mate. It's dead old school. It's not a great ground. It really isn't. It's not the easiest to get. Well, no, it is easy to get to. Just as you arrive on foot, it sort of bottlenecks next to the River Trent. But yeah, I mean, it's good because you'll see obviously the county ground and Notts County ground and Notts Forest ground. I mean, they're so close to each other. But it's a little bit of a walk outside the city centre, but not huge. But Nottingham's it's a good place to go and watch football, mate. Dead old school ground. Yeah, the National Express, good one. Yeah, get the National Express, mate. It'd be sound. Do you drive, Josh? I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible drive, but I don't know if you drive. But the National Express, it would be a good one. You just got to get up. Well, I suppose you wouldn't have to go early, actually, with the National. Yeah, you could get the bus down about midday-ish, actually. But no, it's a good ground. It's dead old school. I mean, whether they'll end up building another one or not, but yeah, it is a bit tired, but it is one of those old school football grounds, and yeah, it'll be a good night. It will be a good night. Yeah, it is a good shout, definitely from Russell there. So yeah, the National Express though, you'll be sound. I mean, trains. Don't get me started on trains. Joke, innit? That we can't just get a train somewhere. I'm sure there was someone who said that it was cheaper for them to um, like fly to another country to then fly back home to their closest airport than what it was to get a train from where they were going to. It's just ridiculous. That's the biggest problem with watching England, the travel. Bagani, have you been? It isn't. It's not a little city. The city centre is well nice. It is nice. Plenty of pubs, plenty of food. Worth looking at now. Get it cheap. Then if you don't end up using it, it's not a huge amount lost. Yeah, I mean, I think they're only. I think. Am I right in thinking, Russell? I mean, it's been a while since I've looked at National Express, but I bet you'd get one for like 20, 30 quid. Oh, Bagani, well, suits you, mate. Definitely get there then, won't you? You'll be sound. Some of the lads, obviously, local to me, because they know I go and watch England, they was like, "Can you get me some tickets, mate?" And I was like, "No, I'm not the FA. Don't work like that. But, join up to my England and sign up, because all of a sudden now, obviously, people local to here, we don't want to travel, think, oh, I'll go and watch an England game. But I do think some people are going to struggle for tickets because of the capacity. Bet you can get it cheaper than that if booked now. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure I've seen like mad deals, like it's like a £5 or £6. It's ridiculous how expensive trains are. I much prefer travelling by train. Yeah, I do as well. Maybe it's outrageous. Train tickets in this. Honestly, it does my head in. I'd love to get the train. In fact, no, I probably wouldn't, because I'd have to leave at like 60, 70 minutes, wouldn't I? And this is what Wembley. Don't get me started. But yeah, the trains would just cost. It just costs so much money. So much money. It's ridiculous. I think it's in Bristol. Russell, I'm pretty sure you're in Bristol, aren't you, Josh? I mean, I don't even know if they would be. I don't know how trains would work from Bristol. I mean, obviously there will be lines, but I bet you'd have to stop off and swap trains and Exeter. Sorry. Oh God, that is a bloody hell, mate. Josh, that is a trek, mate. I feel for you there. I mean, you're an hour before you. Yeah, it's some trek that. Lovely part of the world, though, Josh. Exeter, mate. Lovely part of the world. In fact, it's not. I mean, let's have a look. I'm going to have a look for you now, Josh. Look at the National Express. What's the date again? Let's have a look. Let's plan. Let's see if we can get Josh a National Express coach. 18-hour round trip, mate. That's mental. That is mad. That is proper mad. When did I say these dates were for this game? 10th of June. That's it. No, I don't want a single. I want a return. Of June. And there's like 18 quid, 19 quid. I mean, yeah, there's one that sets off at like return journey. What's the latest one? Because you'll need a late coach, won't you? Oh Jesus, no! I don't want to. I don't want to. Oh, what have I? Right, hang on. It's quite difficult on the phone for some reason when you. Yeah, 40 quid. About 80. I'm getting that. I'm getting about 19, 20 quid each way. To be honest with you, mate, that's all right. That is all right because I'll probably end up paying more than that to go to Wembley in terms of petrol than what I pay for parking. Yeah, I mean, it's just a cost, isn't it? That is just the cost of getting anywhere, really. But 40 quid isn't bad. It's not bad. Everyone like this is a World Cup glass, by the way. It's a proper. I don't know if anyone shops on there, but a proper TV job. But yeah, it's well chuffed for that. Yes, mate, one of your podcasts, definitely. I mean, that's the benefit, actually. 40 quid out, like I'm saying, I'm paying that for petrol and parking, but I've got to do the bloody driving. So, yeah, at least you can sit back, mate, and relax and stuff. But I suppose it's... Yeah, it is a nightmare. It is a bit of a nightmare, that. I mean, how long does the journey say as well? 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. It's the length of the bloody journey. Some of them are like 6-hour drives. 6 hour, 8 hour, 9 hour. I mean, what's it doing? What is this bus doing? Sets off at 3. Well, there's one that sets off at 3:30 and doesn't get into Nottingham until 11:15. I know it might have drop-offs and stuff, but Jesus, that's an 8-hour trip. What the hell? Where does it stop off at? That's outrageous. I'd want to book 2 seats. Wouldn't want anyone sat next to me for 9 hours. That'd do my head in. I think I did get a bus back once from London, and it wasn't too bad, but it was only like 1 or 2 stops. But 7. I mean, how's it taking 7 hours? Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't played at Ashton Gate recently. Actually, they need to do that end of the country. They really do, and it's got to be. Yeah, that is the one. I'm surprised they haven't done an away game down there. They've got to do really the West Coast. Really, I know they did one in Manchester. I know it's not quite the West Coast, but across the country, I'm thinking they'll definitely end up doing one at Everton's new ground, 100%. Like for North West, and then Ashton Gate, I think, Southwest and stuff. They've got to start it in those ends of the country because what they've done the Northeast now. I suppose they haven't done the Southeast, but then. Like Norwich or somewhere, but I don't think. I mean, have England ever played in Norwich? Russell, you'll know that one, mate. Yeah, Lionesses might be, but what about the real deal? Dude, that would be classed in the 21s played there recently. I went into there, or Megabus is the other one. Yeah, Megabuses aren't too bad. If I'm not understand the Megabus, that's the one I got. I think they tend to have less stops. I could be completely wrong there. But the one I had, it was literally just 2 stops. It looks like, I mean, for an 8-hour trip on the bloody National Express, it must be stopping off at 5 different places. But all I would say is 40 quid there and back. It isn't bad. I mean, the hours, 40 quid, but 40-hour round trip and all. I mean, that's mental. Are you taking lessons, Josh, for your car? I mean, you could hire a car for 40 quid. Yeah, I mean, if you've never been to Nottingham, mate, it might actually be worth you staying over. Definitely. Plenty to go and have a look at and see. I often do that. I think I did it in Newcastle. Sometimes I book an hotel in London. I mean, it adds up, but you do make a bit of a weekend. Not a weekend. Well, if it is a weekend, you do. But yeah, you make a couple of days on it. Not seniors, not any time recently. Played at Ipswich, though, maybe 15, 20 years. But yeah, it's bloody... I was thinking, I can't remember England ever playing that way in a long, long time. But it does seem like they're more convinced about taking England on the road and more wanting to take England on the road and getting around the country. I'm surprised they're coming back to the Midlands again for this one, given the fact that they were at Wolves the other year. I'm going to start soon, though. It's so expensive here, and I'd rather that money to go and watch Exeter in England. No, absolutely, mate. Don't blame you. Don't blame you. Chris Lonko, how are you, mate? Welcome. I mean, we've literally... I know on the sign tonight, it's saying Portugal, England. We have spoken about that game, but we've been mainly trying to figure out how Josh can get to Nottingham on the 10th of June for this Senegal game at a reasonable time and at a reasonable price. I mean, the other thing, Josh, is to get on the Facebook groups and stuff and put a shout out to see if anyone else is driving there and back on that day. I'll be honest with you, I should probably do that more. I think because England play more regular at Wembley, I'd do it as one off, but because they always go there, I just like it sometimes to have my own freedom of when I go and when I stay and stuff like that. But I think for one-off games, let's say for example England were playing at Nottingham again, or Newcastle again, or Norwich or something. That's where I think, hang on, could a car share with somebody, for example. Off topic, what do people think of making the World Cup a 40 team with 8 groups of 5 teams, but only the 8 group winners progress to the knockouts? Yeah, it's just a good idea, Josh. I mean, it's just a thought anyway. There might be nobody, but there probably is. Or someone might be running a coach from that end and putting on transport themselves. You'll be just... Yeah, I think the Facebook groups would be a good place to start, but... Actually, you mentioned that. I think there is a regular England supporters coach that comes from that direction. Let me find it. Yeah, I thought they would be. I know there's one pretty much from most parts of the country, but it is worth having a look to see what they're doing and what the cost is. I mean, the cost might actually be cheaper. Bloody hell, the cost might actually be cheaper, and more regular for games, and then it gets you in somewhere for home games as well then, like in terms of when they're at Wembley, and you might be able to get to Wembley there and back a lot quicker moving forward. Chris Longcore, I just think, I don't know, mate. I mean, the group winners, yes, but then it almost what you're going to end up with is the final game in the group probably not meaning anything for almost everybody, and that's the problem, isn't it? You want groups where it's not over after the second game. And that's what you could end... If only the top team went through, that's what you could end up with. I mean, not always, obviously, but all the big stadiums are based in London, Manchester and Liverpool. I don't know. There's Sunderland, there's Newcastle, Villa Park, Hillsborough, Leeds... I mean, they're all pretty good sized stadiums. Not obviously 60-odd thousand, but it doesn't matter. You know, still relatively, still as big as like Wolves, for example. I mean, England haven't played in Liverpool in a long time, in a hell of a long time, and that's why I'm saying now. And I think it's because the way Liverpool fans are with England. I think that was a no-goer. But now Everton's built their new stadium, I can see England definitely playing a game there. The biggest stadium in the Midlands is Villa Park, which is 41,000. Sunderland, Newcastle are miles away from everywhere else. Yeah, but there's still a lot of people that live up there, and you've got to give people the chance, haven't you? There is a lady called Sharon Atkins. I think she organises coaches from Yeovil. Yeah, honestly, Josh, definitely, mate. Get looking around. How does he get hold of Sharon Atkins? Russell, is there a group or something? I mean, yeah, it's just whether, if you can, I mean, getting to Yeovil's better. It's always getting back, isn't it? Like, if it drops you back off at Yeovil at like 2 in the morning, how do you then get back from there? But sometimes that might be a better way. Can someone come pick you up or something like that? Yeah, it's a thought. I mean, end of the day, if it's cheap enough for that return journey with that lady on a coach, then you might be able to just sod it, just book a taxi from where you're going to get. I don't know, but weigh it up. There's definitely coaches. I think there's coaches running up and all down the country, isn't there? I should probably look into it. I'm sure there's one around this area as well. I'm pretty sure there is. Derby, Nottingham way. But then I just think if I'm driving somewhere to get on that, I might as well just bloody drive the whole way. It's different though if you don't drive. If you don't drive, it is really hard work, Josh. Completely sympathise with you, mate. That's the problem. I live just outside Exeter. There's no buses, trains back to where I live between midnight and 5 a.m, which is a bit of a nightmare. Yeah. Have you got anyone who could pick you up? If you get someone like I don't know, like a parent or a brother or friend or something, just say, look, I mean, if it's a mate, just say I'll drop you a tenner or something. Can you come and pick me up? Or better yet, get a mate with a car to buy a ticket and say, do you fancy going to Nottingham? And then they can drive. That's another way around it. Yeah, exactly. It's not a regular thing. So you might be able to get someone who... No, yeah. Definitely not Russell. But yeah, we'll get the link out to you, Josh, somehow. Maybe send it to me, Russ, and then I can send it on to Josh or something on Twitter and stuff like that. But no, yeah, I think it's good. It's just interesting, wasn't it? As we were talking, thinking, there's parts of the country England haven't played there in a hell of a long time, so you do feel like, and Southwest is one of them. They've got to take a game back there. They've got to. Surely, but they haven't, have they? And they probably might not. But you just feel like they seem to be trying to get it around. So let's see if we can get some games down there. I mean, the Lionesses. I mean, I'll be watching it. We'll probably do a live stream Wednesday night as well, all being good. So we'll do a watch along. Should be a good one. Well, depending on how England perform. I mean, the Spain-Belgium game, I didn't watch it. But obviously I've seen the results. Spain got over the line eventually with those goals, and 2 goals, wasn't it? I think in the last few minutes. That bodes something. I mean, from an England perspective, if we now beat Spain, it puts us in a stronger group position in the group. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to be getting relegated, do we? So we need a win from somewhere. Is the home form where it's going to come in? Is playing in front of Wembley Stadium going to be the difference? And obviously England traditionally do particularly the Lionesses tend to do quite well at home, but that result against Germany a few months back wasn't great. We looked like we were halfway through on the way to an hiding, weren't we? But then pulled it back. So maybe there is that. Maybe Wembley Stadium is going to be that different thing for us, but I don't know. I just think, look, win Wednesday night, the whole atmosphere changes. Everyone feels much better. But it just felt like they were just papering over the cracks again last week. Earlier this week, didn't feel like England had pushed on from the last set of games. And it just seems like the same old problems, that little bit of a lack of experience or know-how in midfield, that letting games sort of slip, that ruthlessness in particular seems to have really gone Really gone. Maybe playing Luxembourg in Latvia was more fun, but meaningless. I just think. Look, these games are great, and I've said this is going to be a good indicator in terms of how England are going to go on in defending the Euros in the summer. I think the key is if England go unbeaten in this group, even if we draw 4 out of the whatever games or going into tournament football, the one thing you want to be is difficult to beat. So it's not a disaster if England aren't winning many games in this group. What is key is England prove themselves a challenge to beat. It's as simple as that. And that's ultimately what you want to be going into a knockout tournament. You want to be very difficult to beat and then see where it takes you from there. And there's no doubt that if England's set up to be difficult to beat, we have got that quality in moments, in individual moments and things like that. But that's also our positivity and downfall at the same time. I feel like we're relying on that a little bit. We're relying on some of the established old school players to come up with a bit of magic, come up with a bit of brilliance. And that team just doesn't still quite fit, does it? What's England's best team at the minute with Serena? It's hard to pinpoint. But yeah, I mean, I would be more positive if after Wednesday night we've got another draw. I mean, ultimately, a draw against Spain would be a very, very good result. We're proving difficult to break down, difficult to beat. So I'd take that. But I think a defeat would be, you would start to worry. You really would, and depending on the manner of the defeat as well. If we put a performance in like we did against Germany, where in the first half we were blown away, really, it's gonna be a worry. And ultimately, what you don't want is the players going into the summer under a lot of pressure or facing a lot of criticism. I mean, in some ways, good players, good teams will react to that and deal with that. But I just don't feel like this team has that resilience at the minute. There's not an established squad of players as such. Not like they were when we won the Euros. Like I go back to other live streams where Serena famously went the whole tournament playing the same starting 11. I don't think we're anywhere near that. Even in the Nations League, never mind in the Euros in the summer. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions still, and I think that's the problem. It just seems a lot of questions. And ultimately, it's the same place where the men have been over the past year or so. It just seems like we seems to take 2 steps forwards and put in a really dodgy performance and think, where's that going? Players like who you feel like we're going to come in and establish themselves sort of drop off a little bit. I mean, injuries are key and things like that, but yeah, I think it's probably going to be one of the most interesting games on Wednesday night, and I'm sticking by the fact that I think Spain are the best team in women's football at the minute. So it's as good a test as any. I think if any team beats Spain in the summer, wins the tournament. It's as simple as that. So Wednesday night is huge. I think it's a really, really big game. Mentally, from a media perspective, I think it's going to be a really, really good game for England to either push themselves forward on or potentially come under a lot of pressure. How many teams are there that are better than England women? I know Spain are good, but that's about it. I mean, it's difficult, mate. Would you put... But this is the problem, the consistency of performances. I mean, would Germany's beat England over the past year? Would you put them above England? You would have comfortably said that England are a better team than Portugal, but it didn't seem like that over the weekend. And the Americans, I mean, we did draw with the Americans 0-0, but I would say that they were probably a little bit unlucky not to win that game. So I think I'd agree there, Russell. I'd put Germany and America and Spain above us at the minute. I mean, obviously 2 of those will be in the Euros this summer. But this is the point, though. Portugal aren't. I mean, I don't think they're even in the top 10 of the FIFA rankings, are they, for the women's game? And it's just, I mean, really, England should be beating Portugal, and it's not to put them down or dismiss Portugal in that way. But if we've got ambitions of being a top team consistently, you would expect, England women to beat Portugal. You really would. You really, really would. I mean, Brazil, the Brazilian women, Sweden. I'm not. People often put Sweden up there, but I'm always not convinced a little bit by Sweden. But that's the thing, and I go back to the Lionesses. if we're struggling to beat, Portugal over a course of 9, I mean, Portugal currently are 22nd, 20, yeah, 22 in the FIFA World Rankings currently. Portugal are for the women's game. Belgium are a couple of places ahead, and Belgium gave Spain a good run for the money though, so maybe it is a sign that actually I mean, obviously we all know the FIFA World Rankings also are sometimes absolute pony, but it isn't just England where the signs are there that the women's game is really narrowing up in regards to quality, but yeah, it just seems like England are still on that backwards trend a little bit. In the opening game of 2007 Women's World Cup, Germany beat Argentina 11-0. You won't see that now. No, and that's a good thing, isn't it? It is a good thing. I mean, ultimately, that was my criticism when I did my prediction for the Women's World Cup before it happened, was that you don't want to see 10, 11-0s. You don't. Of course you don't. But I don't know. But yeah, the gap is definitely closing. But England I think it's the ruthlessness, I think, that I feel like England have lost a little bit. Really have lost that bite and that ruthlessness in front of goal. And to finish teams off. And the defence worries me massively. Absolutely massively worries me. But I know I would put Germany and Spain above England. After that, though, yeah, I think there's a huge debate then whether England are, well, currently fourth in the world. Are they the fourth in the world? I mean, according to this, the FIFA rankings match with what we're pretty much saying: Germany, Spain, and the US above. But it's difficult. Then you could say that some of these teams below would beat England. Would they? Of course they could. Of course they could beat England. And ultimately, you become a good team by consistently winning games, and England aren't doing that, and they haven't done it for a while now. They haven't really done it since winning the Euros, for being honest, not on any sort of consistent basis. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I'm just not convinced on Wednesday night that it's going to go well. I really am not. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, we'll do a watch along. I think it'd be a good one. I've not done a watch along in a while because I'm usually at the game, so. Yeah, we'll definitely do a watch along, and it should be a good one for us to sink our teeth into. But I'm going to be in a very different mood after Wednesday night, because I'm either going to be sitting here saying, right, I've underestimated us a little bit, or maybe I haven't given us enough credit. I don't think I'm underestimating England. I don't think that at all. Maybe what I'm not doing, though, is giving them enough credit. I think we'll see after Wednesday. I think we really will. And I stand by it. I think whatever team beats Spain in the summer wins the Women's Euros. I genuinely believe that. I really do. I think Spain are that important to the tournament. And the team to beat, and 100% the team to beat. But Germany are the traditional powerhouses of women's football. They're going to be just as difficult as Spain in the tournament as well. Really, really difficult. But I don't know. It'd be an interesting night Wednesday. Really interesting. And I think that's then going to pretty much set us up for the group. Because if we lose Wednesday, the pressure's then massively on to start winning a game in this group to make sure we don't get relegated. And then if we get relegated, everyone's going to be down. This is what I mean about the Nations League being a really important, because it's sandwiched right before the Euros. We've got to get some sort of positivity coming out of this campaign. There's got to be a couple of results, or at very least, like I said earlier, making us difficult to beat, or not conceding many, or just something that can be brought forward into the summer. What we don't want is England going out of the Nations League early in spring, ultimately putting up new 5 really poor performances or whatever. It's just we need more than that. Spain have been sleeping giants in both men's and women's football in 2008 and 2023 respectively. I mean, I don't think anyone underestimates Spain anymore. I mean, and there was a point in the men's game where everyone thought, Spain have dropped off again, but they just keep producing the talent, don't they? They just keep, and it's ultimately the way they play football. It's possession first. They're not bothered about scoring a goal. It's literally just keep the ball, and everything else will take care of itself. And I'm amazed other countries don't use the same style and philosophy, because it clearly works. I mean, Spain are dominating both games, really. They really are. I know they're not world champions in the men's game, but yeah, Spain are ultimately, they've got football right. They are doing it right, and they are the nation to beat at both in both genders. Absolutely. I think what looking ahead, obviously the most. I think I said to you as well. The Thomas Tuchel announcement will obviously be coming up as well, and I think I said at the time, I'm not. It's not so. It's not so much the announcement that I'm most looking forward to. It's the team that he plays and the system he plays, and I think that's the thing that's gonna. Yeah, I think that's the thing I've got the most buzz for, really, in terms of how he's gonna set up rather than the squad he's actually gonna pick. Um, Plenty of good young English talent this weekend putting themselves forward. I'm adamant there's going to be some surprises. I'm telling you now, there's definitely going to be some surprises in this squad. 100%. 100%. I think as well, looking at the squad, I mean, Russo played well. I mean, who played well? Who played well for the Lionesses, do we feel? I mean, Lauren James had a relatively good game, didn't she? Went a bit quiet again. Um, Russo got a goal, and that's ultimately what a striker's there for. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Going to play 2-3-5 with Rodgers, Kane, Palmer, Jude, and Nwane up front. I'd be very surprised if he plays that, mate, but I think that would be very exciting. But I just can't see him playing that. And this is it. Will he go for the tried and trusted? Will he want to bring those new players through? Lucy Bronze had a great first half, but came off half time. Yeah. Yeah, was she injured? I can't remember now. Not really, says Crystal. Well, maybe Rodgers and Nwane they might be picked in the squad, certainly, and that's sort of the point I was making. I think you're definitely going to get some interesting squad picks. Yeah, but that's sort of a game, isn't it? Lauren James, that is sort of her game. She's got that. She is a bit of one of those troubled people, isn't she? In terms of when you play her, she is a bit of a luxury player. I get that. She is a bit of a luxury player, as we know. We've seen her in the past, mate. She's got that little bit of an edge to her as well. But she is a player who will try things. She really will try things, and they don't always come off. And I think then when you're not playing well, is Lauren James a player you can afford to have in your starting 11? She is sort of one of those players, isn't she? Where yeah, you don't rely on her in a tight game but she could produce a moment of magic. Chip on her shoulder. Russell's definitely not a Lauren James fan. But you're right. You're absolutely right. She has got a bit of a chip on her shoulder. I think because of her brother as well. I think she's one of those people that have constantly been told how amazing she is all her life. I do sort of get that impression as well. I can see where you mean there. I can definitely see what you mean there. Quick, we've got about 8 or 10 people in the chat. I want just everyone put in the chat now. Yes or no? Will the Lionesses win Wednesday night? Let's have a quick vote. I can see Thomas Tuchel trying 4-2-3-1. Yeah, that's what I think he's going to go with. I think he will still have the two holding midfielders, definitely. I can't see him going to a back three or back five or whatever you want to call it. I agree, but who knows? And that's the amazingly interesting part. But let's quick vote. Chris Long goes straight in with a draw. No, says Three Lines podcast. Just while we wait for him to come in, I'm going no as well. Josh, ever the optimist, mate. Love it. Going in with yes. I think it'll be a big ask. Anyone else for anybody anymore? There are a few more. I mean, obviously you don't have to chat here, you don't have to comment, but there are a few more in the live stream at the minute. Be interesting if anyone else wants to put the 2 pennies in. Are we confident for Wednesday night? That is the key. I'm a little bit nervous for Wednesday night. Really am. No, I think everyone else is pretty much just chilling out. So the no's have it because I voted no as well. So 2-1 draw and 1 yes. To be honest with you, I don't know enough about women's football to tell you, but I'll always say England will win. No, well, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. And backing England in the women's game isn't a bad shout. It really isn't. It's not a bad shout at all. They are a good team, one of the best. It's just, yeah, I just think if anyone else other than Spain, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, Lionesses should win that. Maybe Germany. Said that before. But yeah, me and but Russell, can you remember the short I did for the Euros, and I was asking everyone for. I asked everyone if England can bring it home in the Euros, and you're the only person who said no. And ultimately, you were right. I give you that. You were right. But yeah, I was expecting you to put a no then anyway. You've been following England for too long, mate. You know it's just the automatic no chance. We're not going to do it. Is anyone going to the game? I've not asked that actually. Is anyone going to the game Wednesday night? I don't know if it's a sellout. I'm presuming it would be. I don't know though. Let me have a quick look. I mean, it's when you say sellout, you can still buy hospitality tickets. Let me have a look if I log in. See if it's still giving me the option to buy some tickets. Oh, I can't log in. At least it's the Nations League. I don't think it's a sellout. I think there will still be tickets available. And to be honest with you, I have no idea how much they are. And again, it's one of those where if this was closer, I'd probably go. But it's just, it's just another thing to drive down to Wembley for. Did you watch the Newcastle game earlier? Lewis Hall was amazing. Definitely going to be our left back for the next few years. Yeah, he was really good. He was really, really good, mate. Good game as well, wasn't it? Really good game. Hudson-Odoi though as well with a great goal. There's options there. There's options there. Declan Rice was. Let me have a quick look. Actually, not Declan Rice. Ben White, sorry, was trending this weekend, and I'm not quite sure why. In fact, he was trending earlier today. Don't know if this is like some sort of delayed thing or something, but no, seems to have gone. Who knows with Ben White? Who knows? That Hudson-Odoi goal was great. Yeah, it was a really good finish, wasn't it? I mean, the keeper was stood in a really odd position, but it was a very, very good goal. Really good goal. Ben White might be Arsenal's new striker. I'm sure it was Arsenal, wasn't it, who tried to buy Ollie Watkins? Was it Arsenal? I mean, he did try and buy a striker, didn't he? I'm sure he did in the January transfer window. But, I mean, the league is done, isn't it? Liverpool have won the league, really. They really have. Quick look at the... What's today's date? 23rd. Who's on tomorrow night? Sheffield United Leeds. Okay. Rashford 2 assists in 45 minutes. Yeah, no, I mean he's playing well. He seems like he's got that energy back. I think the thing is now, if he don't pull his socks up around a team that is really fighting for each other, a manager who expects a lot from him, if he doesn't pull his socks up now, he's done, isn't he? For me, his career's done. He's going to do another Sterling. He is going to do a Sterling. He'll leave the team where he's embedded. and ultimately he'll just fizzle out. And he's already on the process of fizzling out. He now needs to. He's on that precipice now. It's either do or die now for Marcus Rashford. It really is. And he started relatively well, but I don't think many people doubted he would start well. We all know the problem with Rashford is consistency. Can he do it season in, season out? Not just 6 months, not just one season. Can he do it consistently? Can he keep himself focused? Can he be a key player in a team that arguably, he should be a key player in? It's just, he's got to keep it up, and that's always been the problem with Marcus Rashford. We know he's got the talent, we know he's got the ability, it's just that level of performance. He just lets it dip, and the problem is his dips last for months. They do, they last for 6, 7 months, or 2-3 months, and it's not so bad that he has a bad game. All players have bad games, but with Marcus Rashford, he has bad seasons. He has bad springs and summers and winters, and it's just like, no, we need that consistency from him. And ultimately, he's going to have to be consistent between now and next summer. He's not going to have many England squads to get called up for. It'd be interesting if Thomas Tuchel calls him up. I don't think he will, but who knows? Given the form, if he keeps playing on this form, he might force his way into Tuchel's first squad. We don't know who Tuchel's a fan of at the minute, but it's the consistency for Marcus Rashford. It always has been. Really hope he keeps his form up. Would love for him to be our left winger in the World Cup for next year. I mean, yeah, fully fit, firing. Marcus Rashford is in, isn't he? But it's just get consistent. He just needs to get consistent with his form, and he's not. He just doesn't do it often enough, and that is always the problem. Right, guys, we're coming up to an hour. It's been a bit of an interesting one tonight. We've helped Josh see if he can find travel, a bit more interaction with you guys, because ultimately there isn't a huge amount to talk about, are we? We're still hanging around for games a little bit. To be fair, he's been playing in the worst Man United side for years, which, yeah, I agree with. So it's not completely his fault. He can't constantly play well when he has rubbish playing with him. No, I'd agree, but the best players stand up when the squad's struggling, and I just don't think he's done that. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Just an FYI, next Sunday there will not be a live stream because I am in Prague for the weekend. I'm on my brother's stag do, so I won't be there for that. And I think for the next 2 weekends actually, there won't be a live stream because I think I'm in Newcastle again, ironically, the week after. So a couple of weekends there is going to be a little bit of a break, but I'm going to complement it with the live stream on Wednesday night. And I promise you all now, part 1 of the documentary is dropping within the next 3 to 4 weeks, so keep your eye out for that. I've been working on it, it's almost done. I just need to get that part 1 finished. So, and then I'll be back on the live streams. No, cheers, Russell. Cheers, Gary. Brilliant show again. Thanks for yours and 3 lines. Help with the Trevor. No worries, Josh. Just give me a shout out if you need any more help, mate. Yep. Thank you all for tonight, Josh and Josh and Russell, big shout out to you two tonight. I'm glad you two came on, otherwise I've been talking to myself tonight. So, yeah, thanks for coming on. And Chris Lonco, of course, really, really great inputs. Hope you all have a great week, whatever you're doing. Look after yourselves and, yeah, try and enjoy the week. And ultimately, midweek games are always a good one to have, aren't they? So, hopefully see you all Wednesday night. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all.